Hey everybody, we are Echoed Influence. We are live at the Collab Incorporated. I am Anthony Spartacus Tamayo, and I'm here as always with Modest Betty herself,
That's
April
me.
Rodriguez. And today's theme is You're Not Our Leader, We All Are. It's basically we want to dive into a little bit of a detailed explanation on what it means to be civilized in a civilization. April, would you care to expand on that?
Sure. Well, I was talking when we were trying to set up the open mics at the Pico Rivera Library. We were working with a friend of mine, April Vela. We went to high school together at El Rancho, and we both taught together in the district. So we were. She was
Lovely
telling me,
lady, by the way. She's awesome. She's really cool. She spilled a lot of knowledge on me in the little amount of time that I met her.
and she's a fantastic teacher, one of the best teachers in the district. She does so much for the school district itself and the kids in the community. She's a fantastic teacher, wonderful person, and she's one of the persons who's doing Purge Poetry. So
be on the lookout for
awesome.
that.
Yeah, so come out to the events, the open mics that we'll be having.
At the library, the Pico Rivera one by
yes.
cross street from Smith Park. It's called Purge Poetry. I mean, mostly it's for the youngsters, but like they're going to be doing poetry, but we're going to have our art there as well. So
We're
that
going
should
to be
be pretty
representing
cool.
Home Gallery. So anyways, when we were setting up the open mic, she was telling us about this book that she was reading called Discipline and Punishment by Michel Foucault. And
Frenchman.
Yeah. Pretty much in the book, or what caught my attention was April had said that in the book I hope I don't get this wrong, but essentially that he said that the community should be able to kind of maintain itself. Like
Regulate
if they see
them.
there we go. Like if they see someone doing something wrong, then they know it's wrong, and they would be able to regulate it in like a modest fashion without being too
in a civil
excessive.
fashion, I would say. There had been I remember this one time a couple years ago that there was like these police. It was when all the police brutality was on a rise, and there was a lot of criticism about the police, and so these guys, the police station, fucking just went on strike. They didn't show up to work and everything, and there was like a mild decline in crime due to it. I mean, you have to still get the who's injured and stuff. Like, it didn't stop the ambulances from showing up or anything. So they knew what the crime rate was like that day.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was just crazy because like it was a little snippet of them policing themselves for a little bit of time.
I think the idea especially stood out to us and made us want to talk about it because since I met Anthony, he's always talked about wanting to be like a superhero in the neighborhood, and not like the kind of superhero that hides, but the superhero that's like out there that everybody knows and can call to if they need help or contact in some way.
That's accepted by the people and stuff.
Do you want to tell them about Night Riders?
Well, Night Riders was an idea that we were doing bike rides and everything, and I remember 4th of July, right?
Yes.
We went on 4th of July, and it was beautiful. It was spectacular. I think in one of the other episodes we were talking about it. And as we were riding, I had noticed that there's, it's 4th of July. There's a couple of youngsters that are a little rough around the edges, and they're a little, loud and everything. And as we're riding, I noticed that there's this. I noticed that there was this very nice old man. He was just, his lawn was real clean, and he had just put up his American flag and everything, but he was looking onward like at those ruffians, like just kind of concerned. And I know maybe the rest of that night went great, and maybe those people were really cool with him and they know him really well, but a lot of things went through my mind, and I just wish that I could extend some kind of reassurance to let him know that, hey, you're in a safe spot, especially because I'm around, especially because we're all around and we're ready to act on what needs to be acted upon. Not to say we're going to go out there and start fighting everybody. My go-to would be like, hey man, if you need me, I'm right around the corner. These guys get a lot of control, I'll talk to them for you. If worse came to worse, I'd call the police, while trying to do my best to protect you.
I feel like it's meant, the idea of it is more to be like a neighborhood watch where we're kind of looking out for one another. Like we're not there trying to hurt anyone, we're just trying to take care of the people. Because I mean, what comes to my mind again are those attacks that they had in Pico close to not
Washington.
Wabagril, yeah. Close to Wabagril, the girls that got followed, or the girl that was going for a walk, and they tried to like hit her on the head and take her in, like, I don't know, that bothers me. That's my community.
Yeah, and we're so close right there. And I guess when we did that and everything, and then we came up with Night Riders as a way to, like, I guess get a team of people willing to ride bikes together. But in my head, I see a bunch of people who are trained and just fanning out throughout the city and like doing a nice service to the people, and knowing that it's safe, you know.
Making
and it's
sure,
like
that people feel safe in
that you can walk and you're not. And if we did see something like that, be sure that my group would act on it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I think we started Night Riders, and right now it's for fun. Right now we're just taking a few rides through the neighborhood and just enjoying our fans and stuff.
See
so
who might want to join us or be a part of it with us.
But like I really enjoy the idea of like self-sustaining security within a tribe.
Yeah.
You know, like I love that idea more than I do policing.
So
policing doesn't really get as many results as I would like.
One of the other things, like, so we're talking basically the idea of, like we said in our comments earlier, do we really need an institution to make sure that we're being good boys and good girls, essentially? Yeah. You know what I mean? One of the things,
whose perspective is it going to be good and bad? You know what I mean?
Yeah. One of the things that I thought was important to note was the Stanford experiment. You know, that's the one where they got a bunch of college-age boys. I think it was like something like 20 boys that were going to participate in this experiment, and they chose half of them to be prisoners and half of them to be prison guards. And they were going to leave them there, and it was supposed to be a long, ongoing experiment, but within, like, I forget how long. It's like a couple of days or a day or something.
Maybe a week at most.
Things got really bad. Yeah, things got really bad. They were abusing the kids that were the prisoners. They were, like, withholding food and drinks and beating
torturing them, essentially. Huh?
So, I mean, I think the lesson to learn is that power easily goes to your head, you know, because not one of us is meant to have power.
And then just like that old awesome Spider-Man quote, you know, with great power comes great responsibility.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And they really shifted that responsibility to one another, I believe. Like, I remember, I can't be too sure about it, but, you know, listening to various podcasts, I believe it was Joe Rogan, and he was talking about how they had like these group of apes, and they treated these like a certain group of apes better, giving them extra food, extra attention, extra water, extra treats, extra toys, and they felt entitled, and their arrogance just fucking went through the roof. They were raping every not just the females, they were raping every ape that they could, and then they would just they thought they were, you know, better than everybody is, essentially. You know, so like that's, I guess, to me, I see a lot of that happening immediate in our neighborhood, like even with our police and everything, and it's stuff like that goes to their head, and that power is just it needs to be checked. You know, I was tripping out on that, like how apes and we're not, I don't think we're too far from them, you know, and it's just these experiments that, like, you know, they just the primal versions of ourselves are like that. They want that entitlement, and they want the power. They want to be the ones to look down. You know what I mean? And
it's funny because, like, when I kind of was reading into his book a little bit, the Discipline and Punishment, and in that book he talks about power, his idea of power, and that he thinks of it as like power isn't held by one person. It's held by this, like, something you can't touch in society. It's like it's held within all of society. You know what I mean? It's how do I say it? Power.
Self-sustaining. That's what I've been saying.
Isn't something you can grab. It's not even, like I said, it's not one person. You may, like, say you had a dictatorship. You could kill that dictator, but it doesn't mean you've killed all of the bad, because it lives on in a group of people, not just in one or two people.
So you got to get, like, everybody.
It's a
unified,
like you were saying earlier. It's like a whole shift in thinking in a group of people. It can't just be in one or two. It has to be a complete shift. So, in the book, he was talking about power and how it's like it's a game that we play without even realizing we're playing it. You know, it's such an unconscious thing that lives kind of above us almost, you know, and I just thought that was a really interesting idea behind power.
And speaking of like I wanted to dive into like the prison systems and stuff like that. Like, I mean, comparing our system to like that of Norway's, like Norway, like they're the best prison system, and what they do with their inmates is that they treat them like human beings. You know what I mean? They treat them like civilized adults and everything. In which case, they go out and act like civilized adults. They give them rooms where they can cook for themselves. They have like little jobs like that they do. They do art. They have hobbies. You know, they, like I said, they rehabilitate them, and it's more about that than it is the like what did you say, like the, not the academy, but like the asylum itself. You know, like all they want to do is just put you in an asylum and say this and that instead of rehabilitating you.
Yeah. So then in his book, Discipline and Punishment, Foucault, he compares I guess he kind of like shows the development of the modern prison and where it came from and how it came to be, and
where it is now.
Yeah, the history of it, and it's really interesting because his whole idea in the end ends up being like our modern day prison systems. Well, okay, so I'm going to start from the beginning. He talks about back in the day when torture was how people got punished.
Yeah.
And their physical body was hit and hurt.
In front of everybody.
In front of everybody. And it was a very like weird, gruesome experience. And it was supposed to deter people at the same time, show them like kind of reenacting what happened. But then he said there were too many riots and too much stuff was happening, so they had to move it behind closed doors. So now everything happens behind closed doors and we don't see it. So we think that things are, the modern prison system is awesome and it's great.
It's doing the job, It's rehabilitating people.
But it's more that we just don't see it. And so
we're stuck in that.
Yes, and that one of the things he talked about was how we're not really doing anything good for these prisoners. Like you were saying with the Norway, we're not really helping them or changing them. It's just kind of like hiding them or pushing them aside.
We're stuck in the torture era.
Yes, because the whole foundation of it is based on torture. The whole foundation of this prison system still has its basis in torture instead of, like you said, rehabilitation or changing the human. So
I'll never forget it either. Like I remember when I was working at the park and we were just talking amongst one another. I remember we had DeAndre on the show not too long ago. We were talking about how certain family members, how I have family members, he had family members that went in out of the justice system and went out of prison for drug charges or whatever like that, and they had to get their own rehabilitation and stuff like that, which took them years, and they lost moments with their families and stuff like that, and it came down to a matter of money and stuff. And I remember one girl was just so narrow-minded in her thought, like she was just like, drug people who do drugs belong there, and it's like, but don't they get a chance to get rehabbed? And then she'd say, look, how many chances do they need? I was like, fuck, they're humans, we need as many chances as it takes.
There's a lot of people out there that are, keep doing the same mistake over and over and over, and it's not fair though to expect that people can't change. There's a lot of like ads and quotes and things that say, someone's going to do it, they're going to always be that way, and people never change, and that's a really negative way to look at things. I
Brown
feel
Goose.
Like. Hey, speaking
Gustavo,
of which,
that is the man of the hour when it comes to tagging people.
Yeah,
man, that guy
you.
is a professional tagger.
We'll be doing our raffle in a little bit.
And I gotta appreciate you, man, for that's super humongous exposure for us and everything. Yes. And wow, thank you.
Yes,
thank you to all the members who entered our little raffle and everything and gave us major exposure. Thank you. We noticed it. We noticed it very much. You wanted to go on to this one?
Yeah. So we were talking about Foucault and his idea of the prisoner system. So you're probably saying, okay, well then what do we do? What's the change? How do we change this huge institution around? And I guess I didn't get to finish it, but it seemed like where he was going with it is he started to bring up monasteries and militaries, and how monasteries and militaries were actually really similar. And I thought it was so interesting to me when I took the time to really look at it. And he was saying, like, monasteries, they make sure that you have physical you have time to physically get your energy out, and so do militaries, and they do it in a way that's where you have routines and you have timetable, discipline, timetables where you have to do certain things, and you have an hour to do this, and then you do work, and then you eat, and then you clean up, and then you do this. You know what I mean? Your whole schedule's out, so you don't have time to be scattered, or you don't have time to do random things. What's that quote? The devil finds work for idle hands.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's the monastery and the military both are based on that idea that if you have too much free time and not enough focus, that it's going to cause chaos. And so they're trying to rein that chaos in and to focus it. It doesn't seem like they're trying to mute it. They're just trying to focus it into something that's meaningful and that's going to be good for that individual. You know what I mean? So it seemed like he was saying that for those that need to be punished, it's more about disciplining them, helping them find discipline, helping them find a path instead of just punishing them and forgetting about them. So that was... I
wanted to go back. We were talking about institutions and stuff like that, and like these seemingly advanced institutions that seem to have our well-being in mind. I remember talking to you a while back about the way schools are and the way they ran, and you had told me that the reason why we have summer vacation is because of what the Industrial Revolution.
The farmers, the farmers. The reason we have summer vacation is because farmers, they needed to have their kids when it was time to harvest their crops. So kids were allowed to have summer vacations in order to harvest the crops of their family. But now we don't really need it. It just is a time for kids to...
And it's it's institutionalized, and therefore it's taken serious, but nobody ever stepped back and looked at the institution itself and questioned it until like almost recently. But like it's not how it should be. It was convenience for the past, and we're still applying it today, and it's not doing our kids any good.
As someone who worked in the education system, it's funny, like you look at the education system and you want to be so mad at it because you see that it's doing an injustice for our kids, for our community, for our country even, like. But at the same time, you look at individuals, you look at the teachers, you look at the counselors, you look at the administration, and every single one of those people is working their butt off and putting their whole heart into it. So that's why it's funny. You have these huge institutions that seem so advanced and seem so modern, but are they really doing us good, or are we just following them because they've been what we've done for so long?
I feel like what this person was saying was like that it's just applying ourselves to a machine that doesn't give a shit about us. When we could apply ourselves to a greater machine that would.
I see, like the societal thought is that machine, and we're just, okay, well, this is what we've done.
Yeah, and then we're putting all of it in, and we all hate each other doing it. You know what I mean? Like, think high school. We're all in this institution.
Oh my gosh, that makes me think of that.
Sweetums tweet?
The Sweetums tweet. Well,
it's actually Steakums.
Steakums, oh yeah.
Steakums tweet, yeah.
What I forgot was, that's why we're doing home gallery. Honestly, that's why we do home gallery, because
what's up, Joe?
We're trying to fight that institution, and it's the institution of just going with what we've done for so long, the institution of tradition for the sake of tradition. And home gallery is here to try to break that, to give people a new space to work. And I know destruction sucks and it's awful and it sucks to like break things down, but at the same time, breaking things down gives you a whole playground to play and build and create something new. So home gallery tries to make that space for people to be able to make something new.
Yeah.
So,
and I think we're all creating something new as an entirety. Like the tribe itself, it's a machine for the machine of good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's gonna look up the Steakums tweet, but as we're talking about that, the next thing, if you guys are watching, we're gonna do the raffle right after this. All right.
So stay tuned.
Okay. Stay tuned. Here we go.
So I'm just gonna read this to you guys real quick. This was Steakum. They're like a steak. I don't even know what.
Didn't you post this up on your personal?
I posted up a part of it.
Okay.
So it says, "Why are so many young people flocking to brands on social media for love, guidance, and attention? I'll tell you why. They're isolated from real communities, working service jobs they hate while barely making ends meet, and are living with unchecked personal mental health problems. They're crushed by student loan debt, disenfranchised by past generations, and are dreading the future of our world every day from mass media addiction and the struggle to not just be happy, but to survive this chaotic time with every problem happening at once under a microscope. They grew up through the dawn of the internet culture and have had mass advertising drilled into their media consumption. Now they're being resold their childhood by remakes, sequels, spin-offs, and other cheap nostalgia, making them more cynical to growth or authenticity. They often don't have parents to talk to because they say stuff like, "You don't know how good you have it." And they don't have mentors to talk to because most of them have no concept for growing up in this strange time, which perpetuates the feeling of helplessness and loneliness. They have full access to social media and the information highway, but they feel more alone and insecure than ever. Being behind a screen 24/7 has made them numb to everything, anxious and depressed about everything, and vitriolic or closed off toward anyone different from them. Young people today have it the best and the worst. There's so much to process and very few trusted, accessible outlets to process it all. So they go to memes, they go to obscure or absurd humor, they go to frozen meat companies on Twitter, and brand. I just thought it was a great observation of what's going on, you know, like I see all my friends struggling and they hate their jobs and they're anxious and they're depressed because they feel like they have to fit into the standard. And it's an old way of living, and it's not.
And what they said about disenfranchised by other generations and stuff, man, like, I'll tell you, like, I lived in a household where it was just, like, one generation after another, and it was like each one was putting them down. Mm-hmm. No, your generation is not like mine. Your generation doesn't hit like mine. Your generation doesn't have comics like mine. Your generation couldn't compete with mine. And it's always like that. Like, they're always better. Mm-hmm. You know, I had an older brother that would always remind me, like, of how great, you know, he was and all these other, all his friends and shit compared to my friends. But I had fun either way. Fuck 'em. So now we're going to move on to our raffle, guys. So if you're excited,
here comes
you should be. All right, guys, we're going to draw from the Spider-Man head. Pray to the Spider-Man head. All right. AP's going to choose from the Spider-Man head.
All right.
Okay. Here we go.
Here we go.
You guys nervous? I'm nervous. Who is the winner? I'm excited.
Do you want to read it?
You read it.
All right. I'm going to put it in the camera. How about that?
Yeah. Who do we got?
Alexander Luna 34.
All right. Alexander Luna.
Can you see that?
That guy's he's from a prestigious family.
Alexander Luna.
I played ball with his brothers Nathan and Edward, and I know their whole family. A great group of people. I hope Alex is doing great things with his wrestling skills. I remember last time I saw him in high school, he was whooping ass. Don't forget, guys, we will have another raffle. It's going to be one of AP's pieces. Mm-hmm. And then we're hoping to hit 200. And when we hit 200 and following, we'll have another awesome raffle
of Anthony's.
With another painting of mine, yes. So thank you guys for entering. Thank you guys so much for all the exposure. Please keep watching us, and we'll promise we'll get you guys something good if you guys keep watching us. I mean, we don't, you know.
We'll do another raffle really soon. We promise.
Okay, so we're moving on to our Delectable Collectibles segment, which is one of my favorites because I get to show off what we got. Do you...
real quick, before, just to end the last segment that we did, so if you have any thoughts on anything we said, like what if you think of what I'm super interested to hear what you guys have to say or think about institutions.
Or about this. Okay.
Yeah, institutions, if you think that... how you think we could change them, or what new ways we can go about creating change, and especially in our community, because that's where it all starts.
The only way we're going to be able to do this is with multiple minds, not just us. You know, we need outside perspective. We need every type of perspective we can get.
And we're just interested. I mean, we're philosophers at heart, so we're just interested in what you guys have to say and think and stuff. So.
And even if you guys would like to speak on this in person, which we would enjoy even more, please hit us up, DM us and everything. We'll have a full-on conversation in person. We'll go get some coffee or some shit. Yeah. I'm not a coffee drinker. We'll get a beer. You know, we'll talk comic books. Yeah. So, yes, now we can move on to Delectable Collectibles because I've been excited. I already, you know, I flipped my box inside out. This is what you get. It's, I believe the theme is Invaders. Mm. So, naturally, it came with this awesome Venom shirt.
Very nice.
We got Venom.
Look at those colors.
I'm too short.
Beautiful.
Boom. So yeah, we got this Venom shirt, and it came with this awesome box. Because every Loot Crate has like this irreversible box, which I just found out like last week. Now I'm just playing. Since I've been doing Loot Crate for almost over a year, and I found out maybe about 5 months ago that this shit flips inside out into something else. I was treating those boxes terribly. So let's see what's inside, y'all. So we have this, it's an alien walking his, I guess it's the little offspring that they freaking have. And it's just pissing on the fire hydrant. It's, how do I say it? No, it's a little, it's a toy. A scenic little toy. And we also have, don't worry about that. We also have I Want to Believe journal from X-Files. That's pretty fucking cool. I like that. I'm drawing that one. And then it comes with this awesome alien pin.
Cool.
Where's the moon? There it is. That alien pin. Boom.
Nice.
And to finish it all off, we got this. I thought this was pretty cool. I mean, if you ever seen Predator and you're a fan of Predator, you know those dudes were in the jungle and stuff and had to hide out. This is going to be kind of hard to see, but if you can see the Predator. He's right there embedded in the bandana. See him? Yeah. So I'll be wearing that for no reason. I mean, don't you remember? I mean, I know when I was a kid and I was shown that what a bandana can do and what it looks like, I was wearing them for like 3 days straight before I was told something. Like, you look like an idiot. Do you have anything to show?
No, I don't have any Loot Crate today. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's move on to...
Joseph, we'll see you later.
Hi, y'all.
Joe said he gotta go. We'll see you
All
later,
right, Joe. So you want to move on to Would You Rather?
Yeah. Okay, so our Would You Rather today
Paint the picture, Andy, paint the
has to
picture.
do more with living. Where would you rather live, and who would you rather live around? So my choice... not my choice, not the one I'm more familiar with, I should say, is the Shire from Lord of the Rings. So in the Shire, you have this really grassy, hilly, like small little hills village with all these people that are just kind of, they're doing their farming,
they're
drinking, hanging out together,
celebrating,
having, festivals and fireworks and stuff like that. So would you rather live there or in Navi?
Well, it's Pandora as they know it, but it's ran by the Navi.
I see.
From Avatar and everything. And I really like I always like the tribal aspect of things. Of course, it's a beautiful surrounding, but you're constantly in contact with things that could kill you. So you're always on the move. You're always and I can deal with the life like that as long as I don't. If I didn't have video games, what the fuck else would I do?
But it also has those beautiful. It also has those beautiful like lights and.
Well, what I really enjoy about that is that everything's trying to connect. Even the plants. Even when you have an animal or a pet, you use your hair to connect with it, and I really like and enjoy that. Like I would work my ass off my whole life if I can live like that. And the Shire is not bad either. I like the idea of living in the Shire. It's just a little too slow for me. I want to fly that motherfucker. I want to hunt.
So you would pick Pandora?
Oh, Pandora, yeah.
What about you, Cynthia? I see. Where would you? I pick the Shire. My personal.
Bring over Gandalf.
My personal place would be the Shire, but we want to know, and whoever else is watching, where would you want to live?
Also, too, I think the Navi probably have some pretty dope hallucinogenics from the plant life and everything.
Well, then when they connect you like...
Yeah, it's like, okay, you trip, and then, because I'm broke, let me just...
I'm broke. Watching someone else is like a TV.
No, because that's also how they mate as well. So they're like, dude, no, not again. Last time it got weird.
I would love both, like get a truck. What is that? Someone marrying Tandu. Okay, so our next one is...
Oh, okay, so with that thought then, like say you get a Navi and then you get a freaking Hobbit. How would you entertain, like say we're here in Uptown Whittier, how would you entertain them? Where would you take them?
Both of them.
Both of them, yeah,
So
you have to entertain them both at the same time.
I feel like the Hobbits, you need to take them to a bar. And
That'd be
probably
cool,
like
bar.
a little more of a rowdy bar, so I would say like the 6740 or
yeah, the Hobbits would do awesome
like
there.
just a little more like rugged, I guess, or maybe I'm not a bar person, so
Live in the Shire.
Pandora.
See? Thank you, Brown Goose.
I just love the Shire. So the flowers, and then you
I
have the goofy
mean, I guess
hobbits.
I would retire to the Shire.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I would do
Too
that.
slow.
But I mean, if I had to take them around here, of course, bars for the hobbits. But
Yeah.
I mean, I would take probably the Navi dude to
Like on a hike to
Turnbull.
Helmand.
Yeah, Helmand. Yeah, I get him and my dog, and it's like,
Tire
okay,
him out.
bring your flying thing. Let me fly it.
That's funny.
Don't be an asshole.
That's funny.
So, how about you, AP? Did you already pick just
I
the
think,
bars?
the bar, and then I guess for the Navi, I would take them. Let me see.
You could take them to Herbie's.
Irby's. Take them crystal shopping.
You're like, the fuck is wrong with you people?
I think Irby's closed though, honestly.
You know what? What we could take them to a sex shop. They would love that.
Really?
They'd be like, "What is this?"
Is there
and
one
why?
in Whittier?
Yeah, I thought there used to be one. There's definitely one.
Where?
Oh, when you get off the freeway by that college.
Oh
Junior.
yeah. You're right. By the shop that's right there by Taco Bell.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Okay, so we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, now moving on.
Okay.
Moving on to counseling with comic book couples. Now, the letter we got doesn't necessarily have to do with couples, as I can read right now. So let's get to it. Okay, want to
Okay.
read it? Let's give some advice. Cut me off, right? You guys still there?
We're back. Sorry. We got cut off.
Okay, hold. Is it still there? We're good.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, give me a wave or something if you're still there.
Just so we know we didn't get completely cut off.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
We got a phone call in the middle of it.
No? Nothing?
Should we start over?
Let's see. Should we? We can do it. Real quick.
We'll start over. Yeah.
In and out. Real quick.
In and out.
Could do this again. Ready? I'm gonna have to edit that.
That's okay.
Okay.
No, why? That's fine. It's not that big a deal. Okay, we're back.
All right, guys, we're back, and we're gonna
Oh yeah, counseling with comic book couples.
yeah, getting back to it. And like I said, this one's not really it doesn't seem to be about a couple, but more of a team.
Mm.
So good, because it's relatable. Okay, here we go. I need relationship advice, but not between a couple. It's the relationship I have with my teammates and commander. My moral code doesn't exactly match up with the team's leader when he kills for enjoyment. What should I do? Leave or stay in the business? I mean, actually, he's a great guy once you get to know him. And the team is really cool, especially Domino. Peter. Peter. Any advice for this guy?
That's tough because, as you know, what community is really important to us, and so for me, I think it's more about communication, openly talking to your teammate, and making sure that you discuss what your moral codes and what's important to you, and try to find a happy medium, because you don't want to just leave. I mean, that's not.
Yeah.
You don't want to just leave
I
your
feel
problems.
also too like you want to be heard as well. Like I remember. What are you doing?
I was just gonna say hello.
I remember, and I'm a huge fan of this show. Is called it's Spartacus, and there was a scene where he went into this tent, and this dude he hacked up a warrior's horse because he needed to feed people and himself. And this guy has never even seen Spartacus, and he's a part of his rebellion. And so him being a part of the rebellion, like I said, he's never seen Spartacus. He's just a butcher, a slave who was freed, so he has no real skills. So the guy's questioning him, and like I said, this guy is pouring out his heart to Spartacus about him, and he has no idea that is Spartacus, you know what I mean? So he's like, oh man, if the fucking king off the top of the hill would pay attention to us, he would see that we're good for something, and we're starving here, and blah 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 blah. And Spartacus is, any leader would have took that as insult and been mad. And so Spartacus's men come, and they're like, Spartacus, come here, nah, 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 nah. And the guy's like, oh shit, you're Spartacus? And he goes, oh shit, I'm sorry. And Spartacus stops him right there, and he goes, hey man, don't, basically told him, you're a free man, you speak your heart, even if it's to the idiot upon the hill.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, I know I've done my part, but you know, you're a free man. You should be able to say and feel what you want.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I mean that's my take on that.
Yeah, it's important. I think a good leader allows you to have your opinions and say them, and a good leader should be able to discuss those ideas with you instead of just dismissing it or dismissing you for it, you know. I think I think it's true that you do have to stick with your own, but I feel like for me, like I've left too many things just because I've been afraid or not been willing to work. And creating a team with the foundation, any relationship is going to take time and work to...
And make you get out of your comfort zone. I remember in the last episode we were talking about friends and how certain friends, they choose you. And when that happens, it usually comes from, you know, you initially not liking the idea of being around them, but they grow on you, you know, the idea grows on you. But if it's unhealthy, you know, if it's fucking with your moral code, you know, your moral code, which is like very... there's no waiver to it, you know. If you're a person who doesn't want to kill people and then you're hanging around with someone who does, you might want to distance yourself from that. Yeah, depending on the degree.
Or like I said, I think the talking to them is important first to make sure that you at least try to...
Yeah, if this guy seems to really like whoever this guy is, I have to guess on who it is. But he seems to really like this person, and if that's the case, then you should at least communicate with them. You know, especially if you give them all your time and all your effort already, you know, what could hurt?
Yeah.
So, what was it?
I was counseling with comic book couples.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, now we're...
Okay, so we're moving on to EI recommends. Apey, what would you recommend to our viewers?
Okay, so first I have to say, first and foremost, we've been sick most of this past week. So... That being said, just, you know, bear with us there. We've been sick most of the week, so we did a lot of binge watching. We watched a lot of TV.
Yeah. Norseman. Man, I love Norseman.
Season 2.
Love it so much. Yeah. Hey, that's a side recommendation. Just real quick. Watch Norseman.
It was hilarious.
You will not be disappointed. Rufus? You will not be disappointed. They make fun of Vikings and like they really call out their laws and their religion, and not in a bad way though, but it's like, okay, well you got to do the Etherstoop, and they're like, well, what's the point of me jumping off the cliff? It goes against human instinct to just kill myself and throw myself off the cliff. Can I just walk away? And they're like, well, no, it's the highest honor you can have, you know. And they're like, hey, yeah, honor is very important, Bjorn. And they're like pushing them and shit. It's like, man, it's hilarious. Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
It is so funny. Norseman season 2. If you haven't watched it before, you definitely need to check it out. It's a hilarious show. We also watched Maniac. What's that? Maniac,
yeah,
right?
Maniac, yes.
Maniac on Netflix. It's a
what
Netflix
good
original.
show.
Oh man.
Jonah Hill and Emma Stone, from what I understand, haven't worked with each other since Superbad, or I haven't seen them in anything other than that. And half of it, I mean, there's a good chunk of comedy in it, though.
Oh,
like
yeah.
when I watched the trailer, I wasn't expecting any comedy.
It seems like a serious sci-fi, but it was really funny.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it was hilarious.
If you guys are familiar with the Boondock Saints, it's kind of like that kind of action comedy. It's like it's not meant to be funny. It just fucking is, you know, in a real life circumstance,
well,
you know.
I think that some of the actors, like Justin Theroux, he's in there, and he was so silly and over the top. Oh, it was fantastic.
At some point, I felt bad for him. Like I know initially, probably if you're gonna see that show, you're gonna not like that guy immediately. But I started to go, Like, that guy just wants to masturbate, man.
So
Come on.
The idea of the show is that there are these two people that are destined to meet, to create. There's a reason why they're supposed to meet, and when they finally come into this virtual reality place that they go to, they experience all of these experiences together. I don't want to say too much and give it away.
Yeah, but
they have all these crazy, surreal experiences together, and it's if you're into psychology, if you're into like
it's from memory and interest. You know what I mean? It builds this whole world that they could only understand from their point of view. Mm-hmm. You know, like he was, like, for instance, he was a gangster, and it was just they painted him the most ridiculous fucking gangster ever. But that's how he sees gangsters. You know, like that's how they are. Which I was offended, because I'm a gangster. So what would be your recommendation?
So we also watched. I watched two things that I was totally. It's a fantastic show. If you have nothing to watch right now, Maniac is great, and also Norseman, hilarious, especially if you like historical stuff. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. Though it's funny, it's historically accurate. Like, like Norseman, it's like, okay, what do you think they were thinking while impaling people on giant rods and shit? Like, well, I'm a little hungry,
That scene where he has the horns on him.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And they're like,
why are you wearing that?
Horns on a Viking? That'll never be famous, And it's like, oh, you just watch it, guys. Like, and please let us know what you think. Oh, hey, Mr. Luna. Edward, tell your brother Alex that he's won the raffle.
Woo!
So we're gonna need to get his information and his social security and all kinds of stuff.
Okay, but there are two things that I watched this week that made me want to cry my eyes out. One of them, the first one is Won't You Be My Neighbor, which is the movie about Mr. Rogers. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Good, informative movie.
It was fantastic because he talked a lot
about... Sharky?
He talked a lot about how the way kids see things and how adults influence the way kids think things, and how it's important to talk to kids very clearly and very not exaggerative, and not, that they're
like human beings, like you would like any normal person,
and they have feelings that are just as important. I bawled through the entire thing because he kept saying how important each individual is and how special each individual is and how they need to be, cultivated.
I saw the
and
scene.
loved.
He went to the Senate or something, right? And he was talking the importance on how it is to speak to a child and everything. He went through a fucking song that he wrote for the show, and the dude was just convinced. He was like, you know what? Here's your $20 million. Boom.
He was convinced that that Fred Rogers had kids' best heart really, really at heart.
Yeah, and because of that, like there was all the other shows were able to be on there. Sesame Street, the freaking little sheep puppet, whatever it was.
PBS,
you know what I mean?
PBS.
He saved them, and it was all for the kids. And this podcast and our art collective and anything when it benefits the children, we back it up completely. The thing that hit most was that he was trying to tell people that you're loved and you're not,
useless, and you're perfect just the way you are, and you deserve to be loved just the way you are. And that, to me, hit home because I feel like a lot of people don't feel a part of something, which is what we were talking about earlier, how with the whole the Steakums thing, like people don't feel like they're a part of community anymore. We're so separated from one another. So it was nice to hear that, and nice to the Miss Rogers. The second thing that I watched that made me cry.
I used to love Mr. Rogers.
I used to love watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood when I was little. I always loved his lessons. Especially that one episode on Lost. Oh, that one, they talked about that one in the movie too, and how important that one was, and how he actually talked about things that people didn't want to talk about.
Yeah, even sensitive issues. Like he was like, really, like, guys, this is what it's like. And what's kind of cool is that you see the kids, or they want his attention, and he's still able to give every single child there.
So calm and so patient, and
you have to be. Like every parent needs to be on that fucking level when it comes to kids,
So the other thing that made me bawl my eyes out, well, it didn't this time, but This Is Us. If you haven't seen This Is Us, it's great.
It's a good show. I mean, it's inspiring when it comes to family and stuff, but man, like it never. I've seen 6 episodes with her. I know there's way more. It never failed. I cried every single. I don't even know what was going on most of the episode. I didn't know what was going on.
All the situations, they hit home, and they're real life situations, and you're watching people have to progress and move through these difficult, mucky, ugly parts of life, and it's a good example to see someone do it and do it successfully, even if they fail at some point. You know what I mean? Hey, there's our winner.
What's up, Alexander Luna? Our winner has just popped on. Here you are, buddy. We're gonna bust down your door and give you that. Let's see. Ooh. What's up, y'all? We got a good crowd today.
Hey guys, woo!
Hope you like Spider-Man, Alex. Hey, let us know if you played the game, Alex, and what you thought about it. I know I played that game. I fucking gave way too many hours to it. We were sick.
No, we were.
Just doing the extra shit on Spider-Man is all we were doing.
But when you're sick, you have nothing to do but stay in bed, so of course you play.
So, Disenchantment. Have you? I mean, if you guys love Futurama, Simpsons, that type of shit,
Family Guy.
Disenchantment is, and if you want that mixed with Game of Thrones,
And it has Abby from Broad City.
Yeah. If you guys love Broad City, Abby's one of the main, protagonists.
Yeah.
And it's fucking hilarious through and through. It's about magic and
it's like
how
Game
ridiculous it really fucking can be, and like this demon that tells her to do shit, and she's just a party animal. It's fucking hilarious. Yeah, look, we got a fan right there.
The Futurama, like Game of Thrones version. Which one?
I'm reading Alex's. Yeah, if you get a chance to play that game, Alex, let me know. We're going to be hitting you up soon to get some of your info, though, for real, so we can send it to you or we can meet up.
Disenchantment. Hi, I'm Alpha.
Yeah, hi, I'm Alpha. That dude, I remember he was just calmly whooping some dude's ass. He's like, I'm not normally like this, but my friends need help. Bam, he's just beating the fuck out of that dude. But my favorite's the demon, Lucy.
Oh, yeah.
I love Lucy. He's like, do it. So, another two more, one from you, one from me. Two more recommendations.
Okay, the one I want to recommend, the one I really wanted to recommend is I Love Dogs. I Love Dogs, though.
Yeah.
Which is where we got our quote for our episode, which is, sorry, I have to look real quick to make sure I get it right. You're not our leader, we're all, he says like it a bunch of times, but he says, you're not our leader, we're all our own leader. And it's a story.
Let's take a vote.
It's a story about these dogs by Wes Anderson. They get trapped on an island, garbage island, because they got this disease
called snout flu.
Yeah.
Some bullshit.
So the humans are all scared, so they send them to Garbage Island, and it's this story of this one kid who's going back to save his dog. Mm-hmm. It's all done stop motion. It's so cool.
It's really good.
Cool.
I mean, it shows you about the unity of community and how like all these dogs are just they're living pretty good over there. Like self-sustaining society for those dogs right there. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
For me, if you guys have, for the Netflix guys, there's a movie called Deadly Code. That dude that old man.
John Malkovich.
Yes, he's in it. He's a star of it. And what it's about this, it's a community in Siberia, and they have their own self-sustained security in their community. And it's pretty rad because sometimes, the kids need to steal some shit or whatever, and the military came and busted down their doors and all that shit, and all you know is that the kid points a gun back at the military dude and says, "Get the fuck out of my house, you fucking pig." And as they're leaving the house, you see the whole town had the military. Like, they took their guns and all the military had their hands behind their head. Like, the whole town came in and said, "Get the fuck out of our town." And they're singing this song, like this Victoria song, as they're leaving. It's like, it goes, "Mama Siberia." So it's basically the Russian army tries to fuck with them all the time, but they really honestly can't. These people are too powerful, and they really have like these codes that they live down to the fucking bone. Like, they have like, they hate money. The idea of money is so evil to them, but they need to use it. They never take more than they have to, but they never bring the money in the house. They bury it outside in their backyard. And one time some dude brought money in, like being a big shot. He made this guy fucking clean it. Like, he's like, "Clean that shit." And like, there's nothing there. Like, he's just telling him to clean it because it's an evil entity to him. So it's a really good movie. If you guys get a chance, watch The Deadly Code. It's really good. It'll make you grounded.
Are you an I Love Dog fans? A Wes Anderson fan?
Best film of the year. I would agree to that.
That's
almost. There's a lot of awesome Marvel movies that came out, like Infinity War and stuff.
We had a conversation about that not too long ago, actually, about like awards and how Marvel's never won awards, but there's a good reason for them not winning awards, though, because like, if you compare Isle of Dogs, the promotion for them was nothing compared to the Marvel. So naturally, Marvel. I feel like if Marvel was in it, they would just win everything, and so that's why they're not a part of it, because they would just dominate. Alone, yeah. Well, not on popularity. I think they have good. They have good CGI. They have. You know what? Yeah, they get those A-list actors for a reason. Yeah, so right. That's why I feel like it would just dominate. So they have to have something. It's a powerhouse. Yeah, they need to have like blockbuster ones for just blockbuster movies. Yes, yeah, definitely. But right now, Marvel's the only one. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're moving on to the fantastical fan favorite. Interrealm Rumble. That was a good one this time. So, on one side, we have Planet of the Apes, Caesar's Ape Army, versus Immortan, Joe's,
Cult V8 from Mad Max. These two civilizations will clash in our Interrealm Rumble today. From what I understand, the V8 cult, they came from a fallen civilization, post-apocalyptic. They're fucking insane. They have like this little spray enhancement that kind of, it's a drug. To the root of it, they're boys who have no mothers. You know, so they're just kind of fucking ravage. Yes, and they're
like feral dogs or cats.
Yes, they have, and they feel like Valhalla is a place they want to be. Like they're Viking minded, so Valhalla is a place they want to be. So they don't mind dying at all, as long as it's for a proper cause. Immortan John, that Immortan, and then you got Caesar's army. Now here's where I get a little like one-sided. It's because Caesar took down a modern civilization, not post-apocalyptic, not a modern human society at its peak. You know what I mean? And but to be fair, there was a disease that consumed the humans, and yeah, it kind of, it made the difference.
So then, like, this makes it a fair fight then, because I feel like apes themselves, like when I just think about it, just without you telling me any background information, I think apes and humans, I mean, I think apes might have a little bit more strength, but I think humans, if they have enhancements, especially that their adrenaline would... I
don't think that's going to matter. When it comes to an ape, I think the only enhancement you're going to get is a resistance to pain. Like, he's going to rip your arm off and you might still go.
I guess my thing is, like, the adrenaline is enough to, you know, push you through pain a little bit and kind of make you keep wanting to fight.
Let's not forget that Caesar and his army, they're smart, intelligent apes. Their moods and everything are that on an above average level. So I feel like when they get crazy, they're gonna get passionate. You know what I mean? And I always take passion over crazy. So I mean, like, and that's another thing. Like, it seems like to take down that army is a strong force of will, because it didn't take many. It was like that woman, 3 other women, and Mad Max himself, and maybe one dude on their side. There's a small group of people taking out pretty much an army. And this is an army of apes who's taking down a civilization that had guns, and they threw spears at them. And see, now they're at a point where the apes have guns now. And they're very strategic. They're incredibly smart. And I mean, and then on top of that, the strength. I don't know. I just don't see the V8 cult winning. How would you see them winning? Like, V8 cult, like, why do they win?
I guess I see maybe them using some of the weapons that they've made, or honestly, I don't see them winning.
Oh, you don't?
Because I think of, like, animals. Animals are kind of, I feel like, used to having that, like, crazy animal.
Yeah, the chaos.
Power.
Yeah. Well, they're used to the chaos too. Like, they thrive in it way better than we could on the evolution.
Just, I think more like because of societal, you know, the societal evolution. I don't think that humans are kind of allowed or taught to have that animal, just crazy animal passion or animal.
Well, see, here's the thing. Colonel, his name is Colonel Joe, or Colonel Immortan Joe, whoever he is. He's an Australian colonel, and I think he may have been the reason why the wasteland even happened, but I wasn't too sure about that. But he is a military strategist. Caesar's taken out the world's military strategists. The world, you know, like
the smartest of them.
Yeah, everyone's that survived, and they had the best military strategists went after him, and he took them out. So my vote is for Caesar and his ape army.
My vote is for Caesar. Do you guys, anyone watching, if you guys have a vote, let us know. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, if you guys want, who do you guys think would win between Caesar and his ape army, between them and the V8 cult from Mad Max? Let us know what you think. We have a poll, but right now, the victor goes to Caesar and his ape army. Congratulations there. So, moving on to our finals.
So that's it. We're just going to go over some of our events and things that we have going on. So, of course, we were super thankful to the collab. They've been so wonderful to us. They've been amazing. They've let us come in and really make this our home and create whatever we want here. We have a couple of... we got to vote. Woo!
Caesar. Thank you, Brown Goose.
First and foremost, we want to talk about our Equid Influence Graphic Novel League.
Yes.
So if you haven't heard, we're having a graphic novel book club. That'll be on October 18th. That's a Thursday. And that'll be at 5 p.m. here at the Collab Incorporated. And we're going to discuss The Eternal. So come having read it. And we're going to discuss and talk and see what we think. And we're going to try to do this once a month. So
here's what it looks like, guys. If you guys want to go out there and get it, the Eternals. It's really good. We got it from the library. It was really easy to get. You can also go to any comic book store.
Or
we ended up
Amazon.
purchasing it at Frankincense.
And then Amazon Kindle, you can find it on there also.
So yeah, please join us in our
We
let's
love that.
geek out right here. So we just all together and
Reading,
get a
talking.
real book league going. You know.
By Neil Gaiman, who's fantastic too. So
Yes.
please come for that. And then Anthony.
Again, guys, I'm still training people. I'm doing the Ludus, and I want more people to join us so we can do the Night Rider, so we can have a protective community and everything, and
Take care of one another.
Yeah, you can get in shape. I'm telling you guys right now, it is not CrossFit. It's you're gonna go home with something. You're gonna remember that, and you're gonna be able to apply it and use it to everyday life.
And just from someone who I'm gonna start training with Anthony myself, but. From someone who knows him and watches him, because right now I'm just kind of watching and doing like light exercises. Anthony doesn't teach you how to fight for the sake of being number one or for the sake of being a competitor. He teaches you how to be someone who is able to work with one another, who's protecting, who's defending. He talks to you, he discusses, he creates a whole different world and a whole different environment than just going and working out and looking good and lifting my weights.
And that's the one thing I really didn't. I started to notice when I would talk to other fighters who went to other camps and other academies. They would constantly say things like, they would be arrogant, or and I'd fuck them up. I'd kick their ass. My students would kick their ass and everything. And they get really hurt, or they get really prideful, and it's like, I can tell whatever academy you went to, they didn't teach you a code. They didn't teach you how like not just how to fight, but when to fight, and you just seem to want to just go. Here's your $180. Teach me how to fuck somebody up, and that's not what I'm about. I'm going to teach you guys how to actually work with one another. We even get to a point where we're going to learn how to properly fight with weapons and whatnot. So
there's no mirrors, there's no nothing to make sure that you're looking good. It's
and
all
especially no judgments. I know the sound of it sounds like it's going to be chaotic, but it's not. Like, you walk in there, it's very monk like, you know what I mean, like a Buddhist monk.
How much do you charge again?
$25 a month, and that's just donation. If you guys, I know there's a lot of youngsters that we have in the backyard that we train already, and they can't pay. They don't have a job, so they do pay though. They do pay their 25, but sometimes I let them know, if you can't, don't worry about it. Give me what you got. If that's nothing, or we'll work something out. Bring some waters.
Us out. Yeah. Donate what you can, or we're not in it for the money. We're in it to help one another out. So.
And also, I'm doing my massages again for Hands of Apollo. Please hit me up if you guys want any quotes, or if you guys want. I'm telling you guys right now, but I do deep tissue, Swedish massage, hot stone therapy. I do geriatric and pregnancy massage.
And then let me tell you, it is no joke. I'll get pains in my shoulder or my back. I have a consistent problem with my right side, and I'll ask Anthony all the time, and he puts some real pressure in there. So if you go to massages and you feel like they're not strong enough, or they're not getting to this guy, I'm telling you, this guy will.
Deep tissue is actually my specialty. So
guy, I'm telling you, like, if you really feel like you're not getting anything out of massages, he's fantastic for those really deep.
I have my own table. I make free house calls, y'all, and that's $30 for the full hour, full body.
And then I have my Young Mystic account. If you don't already follow me, I do tarot card readings for $25 for an hour, which is awesome. And like I've said before, I got my bachelor's in psychology, so I come from a place of not just spirituality, but a place of psychology. So I'm someone who's always wanted to better myself and be my best version, and try to achieve that, best version of myself. So I kind of try to guide you to be your best version. And if you feel like you're struggling through something and you need guidance and you need help and you need just someone to talk to or vent to, come schedule a reading with me. I like to have tea and little treats and, very homey. And
also, that applies to Echo and Influence. If you just want to talk to us, just write to us,
And I also do my sun moon mandalas, which are a reflection of your best self in astrology form, in watercolors and gouache and collage and stuff. But I also wanted to tell you guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to list a long list of events we have coming up for Home Gallery, thanks to the collab.
Yes, thank you, collab, for this awesome opportunity that we're going to have to give all you crazy fans some awesome events.
We're so incredibly thankful to them. So our first one, Well, actually, first we have the open mic coming up, and that's at the Pico Rivera Library. It's going to be really awesome. The Pico Rivera Library is letting us do open mics with Purge Poetry, so we're going to be out there representing Home Gallery with our artists, and we're going to be doing that for the month of October, November, and December. Once again, the first one will be Wednesday, October 17th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. So come check us out there. Come read your poetry or whatever you have to get yourself out there. Then our next event will be the Graphic Novel League, which is on Thursday the 18th. So come out and do some philosophical discussing with us about comic books. And then again at the collab, we'll be doing Spawn of Ghoul Folk. So since we've been applying for our non-profit with Home Gallery, we haven't really had money to do events. So we're doing a kind of mini Ghoul Folk here at the collab. They're
more like of an exclusive take on it and everything. It's more of a closed quarters, and the bars and everything are just right here.
And restaurants.
So you guys can just go and eat, and the movie theaters. Yeah, it should be an awesome night.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to that one. Spawn and Ghoul Folk, we're going to be dressed up. Be sure you guys dress up. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing... Okay, I'm not fucking in this.
No.
No?
No.
Because it's going to be scratchy now.
Is it?
Yeah, because the thing came up.
You sure?
I'm not sure. Guys, how's it looking?
I finally got to tarot readings too. Okay, I have to tell you too. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm going to keep going. Spawn of Ghoul Folk here. We're having 10 artist vendors and 3 performers. Nina Rose, Kai Hills is going to be showing his new album.
Nice.
And then we're going to be doing a workshop at the house. We're going to be doing a tarot workshop. I'm going to be doing a tarot workshop with 6 spots. Only 6 spots limited, and it's the night before. It's Tuesday, October 30th, so it's the night before Halloween, so it should be nice and spooky and scary. I'm going to set it up nice and, mystically. And then I'm also going to be doing my yoga session for stress relief. So if you like yoga, but you don't always want to do the fast-paced yoga. Sometimes you want to do the relaxing, stretching, long stretches, and working on kind of de-stressing yourself. So I'm going to do a yoga session like that, and I'm going to be doing tarot. And then Anthony's going to do...
I'll be doing mixed martial arts and spray paint. I was just thinking, how cool would that be, though? Like, you do your I'll train them first, and then they can get an awesome stretch out with you after, cool. As a cool down. That might be pretty good. But again, like, I'm going to be doing MMA and spray paint, so you can learn how to do your own Spider-Man painting.
Yes.
So.
And that'll be, like I said, that'll be the day before Halloween, Tuesday, October 30th. And we're going to be doing that from 6 to 9 p.m. Awesome. And then we have another workshop here at the Collab, and that's going to be Friday, November 9th from 5 to 8 p.m. And we haven't exactly got everything we're going to do yet, but I think we're going to be doing collage, photography, and then we're going to get some other people on to do some more workshop stuff with us.
Hopefully, I think music writing too. Right?
I'm hoping, songwriting, which we're going to see if we can get Nina Rose to teach some songwriting and PD to do some photography stuff. So it should be a lot of really cool events. So check out Home Gallery if you haven't already. Home Gallery Presents on Instagram, and you'll see our flyers for all the events we have coming up. But first and foremost, we have our open mic that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's going to be a really big weekend for us because we have the open mic, the graphic novel, and then the Spawn of Ghoul Folk. So
October's gonna be a busy month for us.
Yes.
While we got 4 fantastic fans on here, do you guys have any questions that we can answer? Any questions?
You want to let us know what you think
about comic books?
How we're doing.
So until then, I would just like to say
thank you,
baby.
I love you. Thank you for everyone who participated in our raffle, and once again, congratulations, Alexander Luna. You can't really see it, Alexander
but
Luna.
We can.
And next time, like we said, the next raffle we have, I'll be raffling off. I have this cool Calvin and Hobbes collage and spray paint. So we'll raffle that off next time, and then again, we'll do a raffle when we get 200 followers.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Well, it looks like we got we probably answered all your questions within this episode. That's probably why. So we'll see you guys next time at the awesome collab again, guys. And next time, if you guys can, come out here and we're in this window, and we'll have seats right here so you can hear us and interact with us. So if we get more people to do that and sign on with us, we'll have bigger events here every Friday. So please, guys, interact with us as much as you possibly can. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cynthia. We hope to see you. I hope to see you at the tarot workshop. That'd be awesome. I'd love for you to come out. I'm sorry, I forgot. For the tarot workshop, I'm gonna be giving away a free tarot deck to one of the participants, one of the 6 people that come.
Awesome.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. So come out. I'll put a flyer up for it, and people can start signing up for that. So yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for stopping by. We'll see you next week.
We love you so much.
Peace.
Bye.